Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Believe in Duke podcast. I'm Steve Weisman from the Raleigh News and Observer, joined as always by Sheldon Williams. Sheldon, I'm in Charlotte today, at ACC Tournament time, and unfortunately, Duke's going to enter the ACC Tournament with some not good injury news. As we found out today, Caleb Foster has a broken bone in his right foot. He had surgery on Sunday. He's going to be out until probably the Final Four at the earliest. If Duke can make it the Final Four, there's a chance he might play there. Pat Ngongba is not going to play in the ACC tournament. That's more of a precautionary thing. It sounds like they expect him to be back for the NCAA tournament. So 2 starters down, number 1 team in the nation, fantastic. 2 starters down, not good. So how are you feeling today?
Just watching the game, I'm looking, and it was one stretch where when Caleb got hurt, Isaiah was on the bench with 2 fouls, and then we have Ngongba on the bench, and I'm like, all right, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, UNC made a run and cut it to 3, I think, and I'm like, oh my God, no, we were letting this team kind of hang around a little bit, and then something like this happens, and like, oh my, don't let this happen again. Like, we have control of the game, and then something like this happens, like we did in Chapel Hill about a month ago. So I was like, don't let this happen again. So granted, it wasn't the case, but that was kind of going through my head when I start seeing, Caleb getting hurt, then they paying over 2, and Ngongba being hurt, and Isaiah on the bench with 2 fouls. And I'm like, all right, come on, let's get out of the first half, and then let's see what we can do in the second half.
And as we saw, the second half went pretty well. Not to diminish, what Ngongba and Foster meant for this team this year, which is a lot.
Right.
They're 2 starters.
Right.
But boy, the team really looked strong in the second half with Caden Boozer out there running the point quite a bit. And that's what we're going to see going forward here. Starting Thursday night in the ACC tournament, Caden Boozer is going to get a lot of minutes, and he may get 35, 40 minutes now. John Shire, even on the media call earlier Tuesday morning, kind of joked about that, like, hey, yeah, is he ready to play 40? He better be, because, they're going to need him. And it's like, again, injuries are never good. You don't want to see it. But, like, the way the team came together in the second half, because I like you, like a lot of people were worried about that game at halftime when Carolina got close again. It's like, you're right. Like, this just happened a month ago. This can't happen again. Duke is clearly the better team, especially when they don't have Caleb Wilson. And but to come out in the second half and play the way they played really bodes well going forward, that they can get through this maybe and get played deep enough to where Caleb Foster can maybe get back in the lineup and play a little bit in the Final Four, which is what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I already said, with the little down period we had in the first half with Caleb being hurt, and then Isaiah with 2 fouls and Ngongba on the bench. But then they cut it to, I want to say 4 or 5 at halftime. And then it started as the second half. It was back and forth for about a good 10 minutes, and forth. And we didn't get any kind of separation. And I know Caden is now playing the starting minutes again. Now primarily the point guard. There's no, sharing the ball, before they kind of experiment with him and Foster early in the season. But now he's primarily the ball handler and the point guard. And it took about maybe 10 minutes, to kind of figure out what's going to happen, what's going to go on. Then all of a sudden, boom, we went on like a 16-0 run. And I want to say around a 10-minute mark in the second half. And we never looked back after that. But leading to the next games coming up, was it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? They no longer play on Sundays anymore. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now we have a game plan where this guy is the guy for our team, and how John's going to kind of figure out the backup. I'm not sure how that's going to work with sharing the ball in case something that does happen where he gets in foul trouble, or we need somebody to kind of run the offense, or do we do a committee by point guard? That type situation where, whoever gets the ball, kind of bring the ball up, and then kind of start the offense and like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how John picks the next step going forward to the ACC tournament and then leading to the March Madness.
And one of the things he said this morning was, we're not going to change who we are, because we're good at what we do. And I get what he's saying there. Like their style of play, they're not gonna change all that. They're still a great defensive team. Uh, the pace they want to play with and all that, but you do have to adjust somewhat to the talent, to people you have available, right? So there's things you can't do as much because you don't have the depth, maybe, or things like that. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, like I can see a residual effect here. Darren Harris may get some more minutes, even though he's not a point guard, but just in that rotation in the backcourt, right? You've got you got Isaiah, you got Dame Sarr, you got Caden, and those minutes that Caleb used to play, 30 minutes a game, they got to be distributed somewhere. Caden will pick up some of them, but I can see Darren Harris again getting some more looks, and they're going to count on him to hit some shots and play some defense, and he's done that at times this year. I'm not saying he's the key to everything here, but I'm just saying residual effect. That's what we're going to look at, right? Then on a team, everybody has to kind of get together. Malik Brown is going to get more minutes in the post because Pat Connaughton's not going to play in the ACC tournament. Takes away, the depth in the post. And you talk about who might play point guard in certain situations. Cam Boozer can run the offense. We've seen that, right?
Well, yeah. The only thing I don't like about that is we are asking him to do a lot more than he's already been doing. So, with him already playing dang near 40 minutes a game anyway, now you're asking him to bring the ball up and then initiate the offense and then get down there and get in his sweet spots that he wants to get the ball in. And, it's asking a lot from him. He may be able to do it, during periods of the time in the game, but I don't know how well it will work for him to do that for the longevity of this now late push into the March Madness. So I want to see how John kind of, maneuvers players around and then kind of see how, who's going to be the facilitator, who's going to be the guy setting up the offense, and who's going to be just the guy just corralling everybody, getting everybody together. But hey, we need a point. Isaiah hasn't touched the ball. Let's get him, it'll be a floor general, that type thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how, these players are reacting to the news and how they're going to adjust to themselves as well as the coaching staff.
Exactly. And this reminds me, I'm going to go to our trivia thing real quick because this is related, okay? Because what I want to ask about is, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to wait till the end of the episode to give the answer. I'm going to kind of do it. I'm going to ask it and wait a couple of minutes, then we're going to answer it because it relates to what we're talking about now, okay?
Okay.
So my question is, in 2001, there was a major injury that happened late in the season. Do you remember which player got hurt?
Their dad.
Exactly. Yes.
The twins' dad. Yeah, that was the first thing I did think about when I saw the injury. But I think it happened a little bit earlier than what's going on right now, because I want to say he missed the last maybe a month of the regular season, but he was back for, I don't know if it was ACC Tournament, then March Madness, or he was back for March Madness. I can't remember that part. Okay,
so I just looked it up. And by the way, when we're asking a trivia question, it comes from my book, Duke Basketball and Illustrated History, which comes out June 15th by Reedy Press. You can pre-order it now. So, okay, 2001 season, I looked it up. Carlos Boozer suffered a metatarsal injury to his foot. Speaking of that, that's what we think Caleb did. February 28th against Maryland. So it was late in the season. Sorry, February 27th. Back it up. February 27th.
Okay.
Is the day he got hurt. He missed the ACC tournament. He came back and played a little bit in the NCAAs, but his first major minutes came in the Final Four. Yeah. And really in the championship game against Arizona, because they had Shane Battier playing center. Arizona had Lauren Woods, remember, 7'1" center from St. Louis.
Yep. Michael Wright.
And he, Coach K realized, like, this isn't going to be a good matchup for the whole game here. We've got to get Carlos. He's got to play now. He's going to have to do it. And he came in and played a lot in that championship game against Arizona. So that team had to adjust on the fly, kind of like what we're talking about this team can do. And we've seen in recent seasons that hasn't worked out as well for Duke. Remember when Zion got hurt and that team didn't make the Final Four? He came back, but then they lost their mojo there a little bit. Right. 2 years ago, Caleb Foster broke his foot in February at Wake. and missed the whole. He was his freshman year, and that's the year Duke made the Elite Eight but lost to NC State. So last year's team won the ACC without Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg, for God's sakes. And then you made the Final Four. Didn't win the whole championship, but made the Final Four. So different things have happened with injuries. I guess from a player's point of view, when this kind of thing happens, what do players do to get through a situation like this?
Yeah, what's crazy is going into my senior year, a lot of people don't know, but I had a fracture with my fifth metatarsal. It was at the head of the fifth metatarsal. I came back from USA basketball, and luckily enough, it was in the late part of the summer, leading up into, I was gonna say training camp, but getting ready for the season. And I was out for about maybe about a month, and just being around the guys, they were all kind of figuring out how to gel as a team. And even though I was coming back for the season, they were still trying to figure out how to gel without me playing with the team, leading up to my senior year season. So I want to say now, with it being late in the season, the team's already gelled. The team's already played with each other. The team has played without Ngongba for the last couple of games, so they figured out how to maneuver with that, having Malik Brown playing a few more minutes than he normally does. Shout out to him, because I think he had his Duke career high against Carolina the other day. So shout out to him for that. I think he was 13 or 14, 15 points, whatever it was. And they figured out how to do that. Granted, we have more bodies at that position to kind of work with, so it worked out well. Now, with us being at the point guard situation, we only really had 2 point guards. And even though that we played 2 point guards at one time early in the year, kind of experimented with that, and then brought Caden back off the bench with Caleb starting, they were able to put themselves in position where if Caleb wasn't playing well, we inserted Caden, and we played like that and try to figure out how we're going to win those games when the guy's not playing as well. So now that he's out of the picture, we have already seen Caden be a starter when Caleb was still playing, but he was not playing the minutes he was playing because he wasn't playing as well. We've already seen that. So that's where I'm kind of get to, kind of long answer, kind of trying to get to the same point where we already kind of seen this team gel around him not being in the starting lineup. And now we got to do it for maybe a longer time if we can get to the Final Four for him to get back.
Great point. That's right. Teams learn lessons along the way that you don't know you're learning. You don't know why you're going to need it, maybe, but now you do. Now it's like, okay, well, we've adjusted things and played a little bit more with Caden than Caleb before. So now it's just going to be, okay, let's do this now. And that's everybody says it's all the next man up mentality. Like, you have to do it. And sometimes it's easier said than done. I gave some examples where it didn't work out as well, right? So you want that to happen and work out, because this Duke team, again, is capable of winning the national championship, just like last year's team was. I don't want to I know we're focused on this breaking news situation here and the team situation. Let's not forget this team's 29-2, 17-1 in the ACC, number 1 in the country. Coming off last year going 35-4, undefeated at home 2 years in a row. Malik Brown has never lost a game at Cameron in a Duke uniform. As John pointed out, when he played for Syracuse, he lost. So
there you go. There you go.
And you're right. He was a big part of that win over Carolina the other night, 76-61. Malik Brown played a great game. So there's a lot going on for this team right now. I just want to look back. Last 2 years, Duke right now is 64-6. They've won 36 of the last 38 regular season ACC games. 17-1 this year, 19-1 last year. Then you throw in winning the ACC championship last year, the tournament. That's 39-2. 39 of the last 41 ACC games Duke has won. So just an incredibly dominant stretch of basketball that this program has put together in John Shire's 4th year. And the ACC awards came out yesterday. John was named Coach of the Year. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I saw where it was the first time in Duke history was a clean sweep.
Yes,
ACC Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. Clean
Malik
sweep.
Brown.
All
Yes,
Duke.
Malik
All
Brown.
Duke. So
Yep.
I thought that was pretty interesting. I did not know that was the first time for Duke kind of do a clean sweep. I know that Jay was up for the Coach of the Year because he's done a really good job with Miami, with them not even being relevant last year to all of a sudden what he did this year. And I know he took a tough one at the end of the year, so maybe that will kind of threw him out the rankings a little bit towards the end when they lost to I think it was Louisville.
They did.
But honestly, I mean, you got John who's coaching the number one team in the country and undefeated at home with the best player in the country. It's kind of hard not to give him, that Coach of the Year award, right?
I mean, he lost 5 guys to the NBA off last year's team and had to totally rebuild the roster.
And back.
And
he's
is back at 29-2, number 1 in the country. So like, and I know, and it happens. Like Coach K didn't win the Coach of the Year award since the year 2000. I think is the last time he won Coach of the Year in the ACC.
Really?
So yeah, people just took it for granted that it's Coach K. Like he's not going to be the Coach of the Year. Like and so it was starting to happen for John. Like John didn't win it last year, and he could have because they went again 19-1 in the conference. And so when John didn't win it last year, and I was part of the voting panel last year. I was not this year, but last year I was, and I was in seasons previously. A lot of times it's whoever took their team from nothing to something. Like Jay Lucas, obviously was a great candidate this year. Ryan Odom at Virginia, great candidate this year. Mm-hmm. Will Wade would have been had they not fallen apart at the end of the season. NC State's kind of lost 4 in a row now, but he was in the running for it. Andy Enfield at SMU, again, they were much better in January. They've kind of regressed. But there were a lot of candidates this year for Coach of the Year. And but if John if John didn't win it this year, he wasn't going to win it. Okay. It was going to be like, well, it's Duke. And they kind of graded Duke on a different kind of scale than else.
And that's one of the things that happens when you're expected. You built a brand that competes every single year and wins every single year. So that kind of happens where, like you said, it's been taken for granted. Granted, I mean, you said Coach K didn't have a win since 2000, and I came in after 2000, and we were on the number 1 team my 4 years there. And you telling me that a guy who's coaching the number 1 team in the country, in 3 of the 4 years, we were the number one seed in the March Madness, and he's not getting that? I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
It's just it's just kind of how it goes. I mean, the expectation was set, and people think Duke has all these built-in advantages, so that anybody can coach that team, anybody can get all these top players and do it. Well, no, it's not. I mean, and now we've seen around the country. I mean, look at BYU. They got AJ DeBonta, who's an incredible player, but they're not a national championship contending team.
No.
And I know they had an injury, but even before that, they weren't, Yeah. And so last year we saw, was it Rutgers had 2 top 5 picks?
And how crazy
didn't
is that?
make the NCAA tournament. They didn't make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. I would never have thought that. Like 2 top 5 picks, and they played good together. Normally if you have beef on a team, I can understand that. But they actually played well together, and yet they couldn't get it done for Rutgers and carry that team. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. So again, shout out to John for having big time talent and knowing how to get these guys motivated and keep them motivated, throughout the whole time. Because a lot of times, and especially now, it's a lot harder than when I played, where you see stuff constantly in your face. Oh, you're such a great player. You such this, that's that, whatever, or people hating on you, things like that. You see a lot more every time you get on your phone or your social media, whatever. And for John to kind of make sure that the culture he's bringing and building stays intact, and he does a good job of that, obviously, because you see great players still being very good guys throughout the time they're at Duke.
They are, people poke fun at the brotherhood and all that, but it's spot on, man. There's a togetherness that John, Coach K had built it, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But John has continued in this new era where again, you're right. There's distractions everywhere, more than ever. And as we know, tampering goes on year round, 24 hours a day from other schools and other people wanting to get a piece of the money and somebody to
Hmm.
transfer and get their, oh, I see you're not playing as much tonight. Maybe you want to come to this school next year. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
nobody's kidding themselves. That happens all the time. It shouldn't, but it does. But
Right,
that just
right.
adds to the distractions. And we've talked about the gambling stuff. People are always on you about missing bets and things like that. So to do all that and to have these 2 base seasons back to back with these two incredibly talented teams, and keep them all together. And this is the number one defensive team in the country Duke has right now. This is back to the core of the Duke program, defense. We saw Dame Sarr out there slapping the court, right?
Yeah,
On
yeah.
Saturday night. That has to warm your heart, man, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you kind of pay homage to the people who played before, because I mean, honestly, every time I see slapping the floor, I always think of Wojo. That's the key player I see. Slapping the floor, being aggressive, being fired up, and ready to run through a brick wall type thing. So every time I see that, I always think of Wojo, and he's the first person that I can think of that started this trend for Duke. And then all of a sudden, I mean, Sarr again been playing really well on defense, where he had a chance where I think he had 3 dunks last game, where he's sitting here he got one off the steal, ran down the court, and did that. He did another one where he thought he was playing football. I guess he just grabbed the ball, and if I was like, what are you talking about walk? I was like, yeah, that wasn't even kind of close. I was like, that. What are you arguing about? That wasn't even kind of close. That was, yeah. He thought he was a running back over there. I was like, what is going on right here? But just his defensive prowess, it's been great to watch him, even blossom even more the last few games. So hopefully he keeps it up, because it's great to watch. It's fun to watch, and again, him doing the homage to the players before slapping the floor. It was great to see.
And yes, his scoring is coming on. It's better than it has been. And with Caleb out, again, there's another area where, okay, that makes you feel better about what's going on, because you're getting some points from him now too. And it's not just Cam Boozer and Isaiah. We've talked about the third scorer all the time, right? Sometimes it was Caleb. Dame Sarr has become that more and more, and that has to continue here. Also, I like talk about the gelling of the team, the accountability thing. I don't know if you saw the social media post afterwards where Dame, when he slapped the floor, didn't tell any other players he was doing it, and Isaiah called him out, and they put it on the Instagram story where he's like, "This is accountability, man. You got to tell us we're doing that, because we're a team. We do it together." And that was good, right? And Dame took it well. Like, okay, I hear what you're saying.
yeah, definitely. I didn't get a chance to see that, but that's pretty cool. That hey, you trying to be involved too. Everyone's off the floor. We all going to do that, and then all of a sudden, it may cause a little, on the other guys. But what's going on right here?
Exactly.
Create some doubt over there. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so it shows the togetherness of the team, and that he could call him out, and it wasn't a problem. Dominic was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll do it next time. We'll do that." So it just again shows how they're connected, and it's the atmosphere that John has created there, that they hold each other accountable, and they and all that. So anyway, doesn't mean they're going to win the national championship this year, but it sure as heck puts them in a great position to do so, and that's exactly what you want to see. If you're a Duke fan going into March, here we are. It's March the 10th as we tape this episode. So bad news came this morning, no question about it. I think after the game Saturday, John pretty much said these guys aren't going to play in the ACC tournament. So let's just get ready for this, and we're going to get ready for the NCAAs. Which I don't know how. Before we wrap this up, I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean the NCAA is the ultimate prize. That's what they're here. They're here to win the national championship. The ACC Tournament championship would be fantastic. Nobody's denying that, but you don't want to win that at the expense of the next one, right?
Yeah. I mean, the bigger goal is trying to hang a banner that won it all. It's nice to have a banner that says we're ACC champs. We already have one that's saying that we're ACC regular season champs. It's another one that ACC regular season conference tournament champs, but that's nice. But again, at the end of the day, we're trying to get that banner that counts at the end of
Number 6.
Number 6 at the end of I think it's the first week of April. So we're trying to get that banner at that time. So if I got to sacrifice, we always say this too, like when you're in foul trouble or whatever. Sometimes when you're playing in foul trouble in a big game and you want to sacrifice a battle to stay in the war, that type of situations where, hey, I know I can play harder and I can play more aggressive, but I know I have 4 fouls. My team needs me. So I got to sit here and kind of let something go for me to actually stay in the war so we can continue to be able to win. So it's the same thing where, hey, I know we have some people hurt right now. This is a chance to get them completely healthy versus like, hey, they about 50% and they could be able to go out there and get hurt again. Now we don't have them at all for the run in March Madness. So again, sacrificing ACC tournament is not a bad thing if we can get everybody healthy, excluding Foster because he's out for a little bit longer, get everybody else healthy for the run, and then hopefully we can make it deep enough so Foster can come back, and then we'd be back again full strength.
Right on. That's the goal. That is it. So Duke has 2 more days till they play on Thursday night. Don't know who that's going to be. You have to play. There's games to be played Tuesday and Wednesday at the ACC. Duke will play the winner of Wednesday's 8-9 game, and that game is at night now on Thursday. They've moved the ACC brackets around. It used to be the number 1 team played at noon on Thursday to get that rest, but they've taken that away because TV, because Duke is the number 1 team in the country when it comes to TV audience. So
yeah.
If I'm a TV executive, I get it. I'm sure the guys don't, would rather have the rest, but that's the way it goes. So we'll see what happens in the ACC tournament here. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Believe in Duke podcast. Kind of an emergency pod given the news that happened today. So we'll get this up today. We normally post it kind of in the morning, but we're going to post this midday. But thanks everybody for listening to this episode. Thanks always to our subscribers. Give us a like and comment and all that stuff, and tell us what you think on your favorite podcast providers, YouTube, whatever it may be. Sheldon, hope you enjoy the games this week. I'll be here in Charlotte. We'll see what the atmosphere is in the arena, and the challenge is out there. Let's see what they can do, right?
Definitely. I mean, if you're a basketball fan, this is the best time right now. So this week leading up to the next 4 weeks, so it's going to be a great time to watch basketball.
Here we go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode.
All right. Let's go, Duke.